There's just something about Toy Story 3. I'm watching Toy Story 5 later today in about some hours. And I decided to rewatch the Toy Story movies. I was just going to rewatch Toy Story 4 because I believe I've only seen it once when it came out in like 2019. I probably saw it in the theaters or did see it in the theaters. I don't really remember seeing it again. I don't really have strong memories of it like I do with Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3. But I decided last night, I said, let me just rewatch them all. So I watched 1 and 2 again last night. I haven't seen those in a while. And then I watched Toy Story 3, just finished it. I started a little bit last night, but I finished it this morning. And Toy Story 3 came out, I feel like it has a special place for me in a sense. Toy Story 1 and 2, I think, are incredible and ones that, I don't remember seeing those though for the first time. Toy Story came out, the first one came out, 6, 7 months before I was born. I watched that sometime when I was a child. Same with Toy Story 2, that came out sometime later in the 90s. Um, don't remember seeing it for the first time. Love those movies, great. But Toy Story 3 came out 2010. I remember I just graduated 8th grade. It had just been my birthday, and my friend Sarah had her birthday 2 days after mine on June 30th. And she had like a party at her house, and then we went to go see a group of like 6 or 7 of us. Went to go see Toy Story 3 at the movie theater. And I remember being there and watching this movie and like seeing these characters that we all know and love, but like watching it and being so just like you're at, for me at that time I was in a stage where I was like, I just turned 13 or 14, 2010. I would have just turned 14. Um, and actually like being able to like see a Toy Story for the first time and like remember it for the first time rather than like Toy Story 1 and 2, like I said, that I'd seen, you know, who I don't think a lot of us probably remember when we first saw Toy Story 1 and 2 because you watch it when you're like a child. And so that could be the same for some people who are watching this who maybe for the 3 and 4 as well. But for me, Toy Story 3 was like, I was like fully aware and like watching it and like seeing these characters. And also I think that the story of it is all like, that's the one with Lotso and the whole, they're at the daycare at Sunshine, or what is it, Sunnyside Daycare, where they're getting played with roughly, and Andy's off to college. And then I just, at the end of the movie here, like when he's giving the toys to Bonnie and like playing with them and like describing what each of them are and like, oh yeah, how did Woody get in the box? And like she's like, oh, I want Woody, and he's like, no, and it's like I almost started to like wanted to tear up again. But I remember watching Toy Story 3 with my friends for Sarah's birthday party, or a part of her birthday party, and like all of us kind of being quite emotional watching this unfold. And I still now, when I think about it, and again watching again for the first time in some years, feeling so just like touched and just like, oh, this is just beautiful and lovely and like, oh my gosh. I feel like it's hard to compare all of them. I like directly to each other, but for that reason, like just honestly, just simply for that reason, that one's always gonna have such a special kind of place. Like I said, the time I actually watched it in terms of like how old I was at the time and like all that stuff, but also the whole like story and arc of it, I feel like was kind of, as I was saying, I was like someone who was coming into high school, and at a certain point, you're not really playing with like toys like that much anymore. I know I have all these like elephants in the back here, but these don't get played with. They just sit there because I'm like, you want to see a little bit of my room, but obviously you see a few elephants, um, just from looking here. But like at some point when you get to a certain age, you're not playing with toys anymore like you used to be, and certainly not how Andy was. And Andy had grown up so much from the second movie, first and second movie to the third movie off to college, and now you're seeing Bonnie, who's it's just like so it's just so touching, and I just like love it. And I'm excited to see Toy Story 5 today. Um, I don't care how old I am. I'm gonna, if they ever come out with any Toy Story, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. And I'm going today, and I'm really excited to see it. They're going against the iPad, the Lily Pad that Greta Lee is voicing. But yeah, um, I also did see a little pivot here. This is going to be kind of a darker note, but they're officially changed. They've officially had new voice actors for Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head because both the voice actors have died. How sad. But yeah, Toy Story 5 on the way today. My 1 minute movie review will come out later. I've given all the Toy Stories that I've seen, I've given them all 5 out of 5 stars. So I don't want to predict too early if I'm going to give it 5 out of 5, but don't be surprised. But that's what happens in the next several hours here if I come on here because how can you not love Toy Story? It's just the best.